Hello everyone, today we are going to look into Salesforce data modeling, which will be a crucial aspect of designing your Salesforce platform, which will align with your business processes and requirements. So before we begin with, let's understand what refers to the term Salesforce. So Salesforce is nothing but the customer relationship management solution that brings companies and customers together. So it's one integrated CRM platform that gives all your departments, including marketing, sales, commerce, and service. It is a single shared view of every customer. So let us understand what do you mean by the data modeling. Data modeling in Salesforce involves structuring of your data effectively, which means the data which comes into the Salesforce org will be stored as a part of object and fields. So objects are two types, which one will be custom object and one will be standard object. So standard objects are nothing but these are the objects which will be given by the Salesforce. Some of the standard object examples are accounts, contacts, opportunities, and cases. And custom objects are nothing but users can create these custom objects to accommodate their specific business processes. For example, if your business handles unique events, you can create a custom object called event with custom fields tailored to your requirements. So if you have to give an definition for object is nothing but the table in a database. Field is nothing but a place where you store a value. For example, if you want to store a name or address of a particular object, then you create fields. Record is nothing but the item which you will be tracking in your database. Now see how do we create a custom object. So let us go to our org. So here we have object manager. So object manager is a place where all the custom and standard objects are listed down. So if you see here, if you just see the type will be having standard as well as the custom object. So this is the custom object and this is the standard object. And one more differentiation between them is custom objects are appended with __c. With that way we can differentiate which is a custom object which is created by a user and which is a standard object which is given by the Salesforce. So let us now create a custom object. So from this right drop down we can click on custom object, create a custom object, and here we will get a new page wherein we have to fill in the details. For example, now let us just fill in the details for a custom object called university. So in the label I'll just put down the university, and here we have the object name as university. We will have the plural name for the university, and here we have something called record name. So record name can be of either text or auto number. So record name is nothing but the standard field that is automatically generated for each record in certain objects. So it acts as a unique identifier for the record that we create for that object. For example, if you take object called account, the record name field is often populated with the name of the company or organization that is associated with the account. So in the contact object, the record name field might contain name of the individual contact likewise. And here we have the deployment status which means deployed, which we will be able to use it. So the deployment status is set to in development when you're first creating your custom object or an external object. Doing so, it hides from the users while you're designing and testing it. So we have to change the deployment status to deployed when you want to allow all users to use the object and associated custom tab, related list, and reports associated with it. Allow search, which we will be able to search this object from the setup, and this option launch new custom tab wizard after saving this custom object. So if we click on that one, we will be able to select the icon for this one. So let me click on save, and here it will prompt you to choose a tab style. So if we click on the search icon, here we have different icons. So I'll just select one icon among it and I'll just click on next. I'll click So, creating custom tabs for objects is a particular way that will provide users with the access to the records of those objects, that is custom objects which we have defined, and this also helps in the interaction with the data also. As we saw earlier, we had clicked the checkbox launch new custom tab after saving of the object. So if we don't check that one, we can create the custom tabs after later in point also. We have to navigate to quick find, search for tabs. Here we have tabs. When we open it, we will be having this section called custom object tabs. So here we can click on new, and here we can select the object which we defined in the earlier modules. For example, if you have created university and if you have not checked at the earlier point, then here we can select the custom object and then select the tab style as we selected earlier. From any of these tab styles, we can select any of the tab, and then we can click on next and save this. Click on next, keeping the default as the same, and click on save. So earlier we kept the defaults as the same. So rather than doing that, if you have multiple applications like sales application, service application, and if you want your custom object to be only visible in some of the application, then you can select that. Later in next modules we will be talking more about it. So now a new custom object called university got created. So here if you see, the API name is university _ C, because this is a custom object, so it got appended with _ C. And if we have to go back to our presentation, we are now done with creation of a custom object. So let us get to know the fields of that. So first one is the identity field. So identity is nothing but the 15 character case sensitive field which automatically gets generated for each and every record. So in the last slide we have creation of a record, so at that point of time I'll show you where we can find the 15 character digit. Second one is the system fields. These fields are nothing but read only fields which will be offered by the system, and they are creation date, last modified date, last modified by ID. Third one is the name. So as we saw, while creation of the object, we had the university name which can be of text or auto number. So these records are used to distinguish between them. And last one is the custom fields. So custom fields are nothing but the fields which we create after creation of the custom object. So moving on to our next slide, which we have is creation of a custom field. So if we have to go back to our org, here we have fields and relationships. So here we have a button called new, and when I click on new, it will show you a data type. So if now let us create a field called department maybe. So for department it has to be a string value, which means text. So here we have a different data types: auto number, formula, checkbox, date, text, and everything. So based on your business requirements and based on the field you are creating, you can choose the data type. So let me just select text as of now, and if I click on next, here it will show you to enter the field name. So let me enter department, and here it is asking you what will be the length of that department. Let me just give it as 20, and this is the description. Let me give it as department name, and here we have a checkbox called required. So if I click on this checkbox, then whenever we are creating a new record, this department name has to be entered, else it will be showing an error. Let us click on next, and save. So here we are able to see our department which we just created, and it also got appended with _ C. Since this is a custom field, so only it got appended with _ C. Creation of custom field is now done. Now we have created an object and a field. So now let us see how the data will be stored. Let us go back here and let us try to create a university record. So from the app launcher we have to search the university. This 9 dots is known as app launcher. We have to click on that and let us search our object name which we created, universities. universities. So now here you can see there are 0 items, which means there are like no records, and this is the drop down which we have, and if we click on all, we'll have all the records listed down here. So we have the new button. Let us click on new. So here it is asking you to give the university name. I'll just give it as KLSGIT, and the department, let me give it as computer science. And if I click on save, it will create a new record with the university name and department. And as we saw, these are nothing but the fields which are system given, and here we have that id of 15 character digit, which will describe its record. And let us create one more record wherein we will get to know what that required field was. So let me create new record. Let me give it as test, and let me before we save in, I'll just keep the department as empty and I'll try to save in. So now we got this error, which means it is showing you to complete this field, else it won't save that record. So let me just click save it. Let me just fill in that department and save it. So now the record got created. So this was about how do we create a record. And so today, to conclude with, we have learned what is data modeling and how do we create a custom object and how do we create a custom field, as well as how do we, after creation of both, how do we create a record in it to identify